good morning, and what a good way to start. We've come down to Fens Fishery in Braintree today. Weather's really cold. The van was telling me it was 1 degree when I left my house this morning. Not always the nicest thing to see, but I'm here to prove that even when it gets really cold, there are waters out there where you can go on and have a successful winter's fishing. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not fishing for any monsters today. I think there's a few fish that push 20 pound, but it's about getting them bobbins going. I don't care how big they are. When the water's as cold as it is and the air temperature's as cold as it is, just be able to lift one up that's probably about £9 for the cameras is always pleasing. Hopefully we're going to get a few more throughout the day, but during the course I'm going to give you a few little tips on how to keep those bobbins moving. Well, here's the rig that's been working so far. I'll start with the bait end. As you can see, I've got a couple of tiger nuts on there. They've been soaked in pineapple supreme goo, so it's right through to the core. So when it's out in the pond, it's just giving out a lot more attraction than anything else around it. I've also drilled them both out and included a small cork plug just to take away the weight of the hook. That means when the carp comes in, if it's feeding on a few of the freebies that I've put out, this is going to behave no differently. So it doesn't treat it with danger. It still feeds, hopefully with gusto. And as that has happened, it's been hooked. Hook presentation, I've got a wide gape size 6, but there's a small rig ring on there which just allows the bait to separate once the carp tries to move away or tries to reject it. It's also then got a small piece of shrink tree, which as you can see, if I just let the rig hang, it's curved in aggressively. This makes the gape of the hook even wider and makes it far more aggressive when it comes to the carp pulling away and turning to just a hook in that bottom lip. Hook link choice, one of my favourite all-time hook links is the hybrid stiff in both colours. Gone for the weedy green. I'm fishing sort of next to an island. There's a lot of sort of leaf detritus on the bottom, and I think this just helps it all to blend in very, very nicely. As you can see, it's a very stiff hook link. Steamed over a kettle, you get the desired effect. But where I've just stripped a bit back here with a stripper tool, you can see I've got that movement. So wherever a carp picks it up from, whatever direction it comes in from, it's going to nail it in the all-important bottom lip. I've also included an anti-tangle sleeve. Now I'll be honest, it's not something I used to use too much until watching the Underwater 8 and in particular Ali section when he had it on his, I think it was his IQ rig if I remember rightly. And watching that behave in the water, we've all accepted now that carp pick your rig up time and time again and they do get away with it. Something like that, I'm positive, not only puts more fish on the bank, but when it does get rejected, it allows it to reset every single time. Onto the lead setup. I've got the hybrid leg clip here, as you can see. I've crimped my rig to one end. If I can just pull that anti-tangle sleeve away, you can see it's a crimp there as opposed to a knot, much easier to do. And then it's tied this end, so the leg clip can't move. The swivel is fitted inside. It's a moulded unit, so that should a fish become snagged, the lead simply pops off the arm, so that I know that I'm fishing as safely as possible. So there you go, it's working so far. I'm sure there'll be times throughout the day where I'll be changing things and trying different bits just to try and keep the bobbins moving. I really believe that on lakes such as this, where there's numbers of carp in here, even though we've caught a couple, I think there's always something you can do to keep the bobbins going and to entice a few more on the bank. Keep you posted. Well, the left-hand rod's just pulled up tight. I was fishing it locked up, so I'm fishing just to the corner of an island, and I'm pretty sure it's another carp. It doesn't feel very big, but as I mentioned earlier, it's freezing cold. Any activity just keeps you warm, Now I know there's some really, really pretty mirrors in there. I fished it once before back in the summer and was fortunate enough to catch some really beautiful scaly mirrors. And there's a few nice linears as well, and obviously you've seen the stamper like the common that I had earlier. Just hoping we're going to be lucky enough to get one of the real pretty ones. There we go, that's fish number 2. It's come from the same spot as the first one. One of the ones that I really hoped I'd catch. As I said to you, they're not massive, but when they look like that, it doesn't really matter how big they are. Absolutely stunning, fully scaled mirror, proper buzzing. I'm going to slip him back now, then I'm going to show you why I chose to fish here this morning. Right, I got down here this morning for when the complex opens. It opens at 7:30, so I didn't have to get up at stupid o'clock. I'm quite local. But I've only ever fished the lake once. It was back in the summer, so I had nothing to go on, and obviously things change a lot from summer to winter. So I had a good walk around the lake, decided to fish this lake on sort of past knowledge. Had very little to go on, and just as I was starting my second lap, just over my shoulder here, you can see there's an island very close in. Just saw a bit of dimpling on the surface. Wasn't sure what it was, but it was literally the only bit of activity that I'd seen. So with nothing else to go on, I've more or less fished off the barrow, just tied up a couple of small sticks, a couple of small bags, just for a little bit of attraction around the hook bait. As you've seen, a couple of tiger nuts on the hair, plopped one in close, and further out into the lake there's another island, and I thought, well, if I've seen something there, perhaps I'll give that a go as well. So I put one on that, laid the rods on the deck, and just I was sort of thinking about, getting the kettle on and seeing if I could spot anything. The first rod I put in was away. First fish was probably an upper single common, not massive, but nice way to start the session off. And since then, that spot's continued to be productive. So there's clearly sort of, you've almost got like a back channel. So I think the carp may be holding up round there, and as they're just coming out, they're encountering my hook bait and just snaffling it. However, I've only got one rod rocking at the moment, and back in the summer, I was getting, all rods were going quite regularly. So I've put a little bit of particle out into open water just to try and stir something up, and I have managed just to catch a small skimmer off it, but there's been plenty of activity. So I'm hoping that not only are we going to get a couple more on the left-hand rod, but we can get something out on the other rod too. I'll let you know. Get in the net. There we go, fish number 4, easily the biggest of the trip. Gave me a battle royale like a long time since a carp has fought that hard. I'm going to weigh him in a second. I'm going to guess he's about 16 pound, but what an absolute stunner. Best part, got a few hours left yet, so hopefully got time for more. Right, whilst there's a bit of a lull in the action, I'm just going to take you through the bag mix that I've been using successfully today. It's nothing revolutionary, don't get too excited. I'm literally just got some cell boilies in mixed sizes, and I've got a few tiger nuts as well. And all I'm simply doing is getting the crusher, putting a few in at a time, and as you can see, crush up. Not to a really fine consistency, because I still want a few bigger food items in there as well. So if I take a good handful, you'll see there's a couple of lumps of boilies, there's a few lumps of tiger nuts as well, and then just the usual crumb that you'll get with a crusher. Then simply put through a funnel web system, and I'm just putting out enough for a bite at a time. I don't want to fill them in, I'm not putting loads and loads of bait out. It's literally one of these, bit of caramel goo's been successful over the top of the bag afterwards, and then literally I'm probably putting out about 10 boilies as well, just not right on top of where the hook bait is, just a few dotted around. You tend to find this time of year, carp are not really, they're starting to go into their slow down stage, like they're not moving around quite as much. Not as many people are fishing, so there's not as much bait going in. So I like a few boilies just spaced around, so the carp are just used to moving and looking for a mouthful of food. And hopefully as they come along to this and my 2 tiger nuts next to it, because my tiger nuts got that bit more attraction where they've been soaked in the goo as well, hopefully it's one of the first things they pick up. And it's certainly proved to be the case. 2 of the bites I've had today have come literally within like 2 or 3 minutes of casting out. and I'm 99% certain that is because the high attraction my hook bait holds. There you go, nice and simple. We've got a couple of hours left. I'm hoping we can just nick another one. Right, well, we're almost at the end of the day now. As you can see, the light's going a bit. They close the gates at about 4:30, so you don't really, you know, I'd like to stay an hour into dark if I could, because that's often a really good time in winter. This lake unfortunately doesn't allow it. As you can see, most things are packed away. We've got the rods on the deck. There's always that chance it's the last thing I pack away. I've got my net, my 2 rods, everything else is pretty much on the barrow. I don't think it's going to happen. Like I say, I think we need the hour into darkness, but never mind. It's been really good. We've had 4 bites today and 1 sort of weird occurrence. It just goes to show, if you just put a little bit of thought into it, choose your lake wisely, even through the coldest of months, you can just still keep a few fish coming on the bank. Might be cold for us, but hey ho, we're here to, you know, we've been here to catch a few fish. We've done it. You can do it too.